Hello everyone, this is the hardest boss fight in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, but I'll be showing you how to easily beat Simon even if you're not a pro gamer. Now there's a specific setup that we can use here, and I would recommend starting off with Verso, Lune, and Minoco on your first team, as that's going to make this a lot easier, and having Sciel and Maelle at the end when you want that burst damage when it gets really hard helps out quite a bit. So Verso's overall technique is going to be using his free aim shots to build up his perfection there, and I would recommend having the dual Liso weapon here. I found that just worked well, as he's kind of the guy that's used for healing and kind of support. Lune is going to be our kind of main damage character here. I would recommend having the Trebuchem here, or the other one that gives you free aim shot stains, because we want to set up our elemental genesis. This is going to give us a crazy amount of damage, which we want to set up as much as possible. Make sure that you can get her critical hits maxed out to 100%, and then use elemental trick here, because this will give you one of each stain. And with the cheater picto, you can use that pretty much every single turn that you go. Now for the combos, these are some of the easier ones, are the ones that hit harder. So that one there, the strong combo is just a 3-hit. You can listen for the sound on that one, but for most of the attacks in this fight, you actually can't rely on the sound cues like you used to be doing. Now, Sakapatate fire here works really well on Monoco. I would recommend using this one. It's going to stack burn up really easily, and it does quite a bit of damage there. And Monoco's really on the squad here because we want to use his gradient attack to break Simon. So his break attack is extremely useful. Lune is really just going to continue spamming that the whole time and using elemental trick to get it back. With the cheater picto, you're able to do that, and it builds up quite a few gradient charges as well. So we already have 3 out of 3. I would recommend trying to keep Verso in his A if possible for his perfect break extension there. So here we got the break point, and we can also use the mighty strike as well if we're close to taking him out. I should have went for the went there and tried to break, but we were able to get the break off with Verso next turn. And then what's nice about this, we can always just use this turn to revive, and then Verso's going to go again there. And if we had our stance in A, we would have been able to do something, but we do it a little bit later on, you're going to see. So again, just use Verso to keep shooting off shots and build up his perfection, do his attack there. And the setup that I got there, Strike Storm is a pretty good option for damage. That's what I just used there. He's not going to be our highest damage character. You can use like Corn Torso if you want for a weapon, but Lune does great job at dealing damage, and then Minoco breaking. I found that worked very well. So again, just elemental genesis there. And for this short combo here, you do have to dodge, and it's a double cadence on every single attack. So just get used to dodging or parrying at that same timing. And for whenever you got Minoco going there, again, I was always trying to get him into the almighty stance so that you can do Sakapatate fire. Back to the dodging though, this is really about focusing on the way the blade is moving and not the sound of it. So whenever you're watching for the dodge attack timing, it's really about watching the sword. Here I went way too early, and this is how Lune went down. This one, again, you can't rely on the sound for these dodging timings. So even if you have someone go down, that's going to be okay. Minoco here is able to break again Simon, and you can use a revive at this point, or if you want, you can just try to deal as much damage as possible. So be mindful, he's going to use an attack where he reduces your health to 1 quite frequently, and then he removes the dead from the canvas, so you can't get them back. Now, that's fine. I found that getting Maelle to the second phase is going to be ideal here. We got him really close to breaking again, so this is how you win, because he gets 2 turns back to back often. So we broke him there, and then I went up to Perfection A, used the dual Liso single attack to get my turn back, and then since we're in Perfection A, we can use the End Bringer. This is extremely useful because using this is going to keep his stun reapplied, and it just makes this fight a lot better because that's an extra turn that you don't have to go through. So you can see there, he's stunned. Unfortunately, he's still stunned, so I wasn't able to use the gradient attack to put him back in a stun, so I just went with a base attack there to do a bit of damage. But the Mighty Strike gradient attack from Minoco there does extra damage if they're stunned. It only uses 1 gradient charge, so that's a good option for damage as well. I would recommend using that as much as possible too. This attack timing is pretty good, but if you miss it, you get screwed right there. I found the attack timing for that is just wait for the sound effect. That's the only one that really has a sound effect. But the big thing is, once we get Sciel and Maelle in, Maelle's going to want to be buffed up with a Fortune's Fury from Sciel, which is going to double her damage. With the cheater picto, again, you can then go ahead with doing intervention. I would recommend stacking up the marked on the target there, so I shot away it and brought it back, to use intervention, which is going to let Maelle take a turn, and her turn has the double damage. So Sciel's great for buffing up Maelle here, and the most powerful attack in the game, Stendhal, we want to take advantage of it, so we're going to be using that there. It'll give defenseless on Simon as well, so we can do a bit of damage, and we got an extra turn after this. You can see his stun bar is close to completion there, which is perfect, so we get to go again. Fleuret Fury can break, so that's a really good one to use on him when he's in this stance. So that's going to remove only one of his turns, unfortunately. So this gets brutal because he starts to get the 2 turns in a row, and it's hard to counter. So I end up going down as Maelle there. But what happened next is we are in this stance, or we got no stance, and we got 3 gradient charges. Gommage will put us in our virtuose stance again. So using this for a massive amount of damage, 3.6 million. We did just hit for 17 million with Stendhal with a mark on him in virtuose, but he's close to breaking, so we can go with that again. Boom, break him, and then Sciel goes. Now the perfect thing here with Sciel is we already have Maelle in her virtuose stance, so we can literally just go with our we can go with the Fortune Flurry here to give her that extra turn, or extra damage on her turn. We set up marked, and then we got 5 action points just to deliver that final intervention, which lets Maelle go again. So here she goes, double damage on this turn, and you know how this is going to end. We're going to pull out Stendhal again, which again does so much damage, especially if there's a mark set up, and we got this right here in the bag. So yeah, this is the best backline here. Having Sciel and Maelle works very well. I'll be posting a build video on this in the future, so you can stay tuned for that, and subscribe if you found this video useful.